let's get one thing perfectly clear. This isn't some angry takedown of marriage. It's not a bitter man's rant, and it's definitely not a swipe at love or loyalty. What this is truth. The raw kind. The kind that doesn't whisper but grabs you by the collar and looks you dead in the eye. Because today, we're peeling back the psychological curtain on something most men never notice, until it's already burned their lives to the ground. Why do so many married women who have it all, quietly spiral into emotional chaos, validation addiction, and in some cases, secret affairs? No, this isn't a tired cliché about bad apples or scandal. It's something much more haunting. It's about silent emotional starvation, about a woman slowly drowning in a life that looks perfect from the outside, but feels like a padded cage on the inside. A home filled with pictures, but missing presence. And before we get into this uncomfortable truth, I've got something for you. Something that rewires how you see female behavior forever. A free ebook. It's called The Itch. And no, it's not what you think. She lives in comfort but starves for intensity. On paper, her life looks perfect. A stable home, a decent husband, 2 kids and a dog with a wine lover's name like Merlot or Pinot. But inside, she's suffocating. She's bored out of her mind. Her life has become a copy-paste existence. Same breakfast conversations, same scheduled sex, same mechanical kisses before bed. Somewhere along the road, the wild-eyed girl with dreams and fire got traded for a planner and a grocery list. And then one day, a man walks by. He doesn't flinch under her gaze, doesn't bend to please, doesn't seek approval. He smells like risk, talks with weight, and carries chaos just beneath the surface. And suddenly a spark she hasn't felt in years flickers to life. Not because she wants him, but because he reminds her of the woman she used to be before she became someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's calendar. She's not running toward infidelity. She's running toward herself. The version of her that wasn't buried under responsibility and routine. That's what most men miss. They think it's about another guy, but she's really just trying to feel alive again. And what fuels her further is something far more dangerous than lust. It's validation. And she's hooked, starved, addicted. Not in a way she'd ever admit, but in a way that controls her. The world talks about drug addiction, alcohol dependency, but nobody wants to talk about the modern epidemic. Attention addiction. One compliment from a stranger, one unexpected glance, one, "You look amazing for a mom," and she lights up like a match. A small hit of dopamine, and boom, she's alive again. Not because she wants the man who said it, but because he gave her what her own husband forgot. Acknowledgement. Social media becomes her playground of emotional highs. That one like, that comment, that message from an old friend saying, "I can't believe you're married. You don't look it." That's the new currency in a marriage that's emotionally broke. And if you think this is far-fetched, take a walk through any yoga class, high-end gym, or upscale office space. You'll find the wedding rings, flashing eyes, subtle glances, unspoken energy. The hunger's there. All it needs is a trigger. Here's where the story starts to twist in ways most men never see coming. She genuinely believes no one would ever suspect her. And honestly, why would they? The image she projects is ironclad. Society has wrapped the married woman in a glow of untouchable virtue. She's the picture of stability. Maybe she's got a toddler hanging off her hip, a grocery list in one hand, and PTA meeting reminders in the other. She bakes cookies on the weekend, hosts baby showers, plans anniversary getaways. She posts sunlit photos with her husband, smiling with captions like, "Still the one," or "My rock." To the outside world, she's the embodiment of domestic bliss. No one sees her coming, and that's exactly what makes her invisible and dangerously underestimated. She doesn't wear red flags. She wears yoga pants. She doesn't flirt at the bar. She double taps Instagram stories. She doesn't sneak out late at night. She texts, "Good night, hard eyes" to her husband while lying next to him, phone tilted away. And society? Still clinging to that dusty narrative that men cheat for lust, women cheat for love. It's a comforting lie, but reality doesn't fit so neatly into stereotypes. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Women cheat for the same reason men do. Because they're human. Because they're emotionally neglected. Because they're exhausted by being invisible in their own home. Because they crave recognition, thrill, desire. Not necessarily sex. Something deeper. Something rawer. They want to feel alive again. And when the validation is gone at home, it only takes one outside spark to light a fire. But unlike men, she doesn't usually dive headfirst into recklessness. She's not sloppy, she's strategic. Her moves are calculated, not chaotic. She keeps it subtle, clean, digital. A late-night conversation, an inside joke, an emoji that feels harmless, but isn't. A photo liked at just the right time. She tests the waters in ways that can always be explained away. If questioned, she's got the script ready. You're being paranoid. He's just a friend. You're reading into things. She'll never admit it out loud, but every line she crosses has been rehearsed in her head. Every boundary she tiptoes past has already been justified internally. He doesn't see me anymore. He never compliments me. We've grown apart. I deserve to feel something again. The betrayal, when it happens, isn't an accident. It's a slow evolution, paved by months or even years of emotional withdrawal and quiet resentment. And while most men stay blissfully unaware until it's too late, the Stoic ones, the emotionally trained, the self-aware, they feel the change. They pick up on the subtle shift in energy. The way her laughter becomes more forced. The way her phone never leaves her hand. The way eye contact fades during dinner. They sense the emotional exit before the physical one even begins. And instead of lashing out, instead of begging or accusing, they observe, they analyze, and then they leave. Not in a storm of anger, but in a silence so powerful it echoes. Because a man who sees the truth doesn't need proof. He just needs awareness. And if you've ever had that gut feeling, that eerie intuition that something's wrong long before there's evidence, you're not crazy. You're tuned in. The world may fall for appearances, but you don't. Because you've learned. Betrayal doesn't always wear heels. Sometimes it wears familiarity. And the most dangerous lies are the ones hidden behind smiles. And here's the part that hurts the most. She emotionally checks out long before her body ever follows. She could be sitting across from you at dinner, nodding, smiling, laughing. But something's off. Her mind is gone. Her heart's halfway out the door. The meals get quieter. Her eyes don't meet yours the same. The intimacy starts to feel like obligation. And while you think everything's stable, she's already creating an emotional connection elsewhere. It starts with, "ha-ha," at someone else's joke. It builds with, "just checking in" texts. And soon you're just a roommate. She's present in body, but absent in soul. And she'll justify it in her head 1,000 different ways. He doesn't listen to me. We've grown apart. I didn't mean for this to happen. But if you were truly paying attention, you would have seen the silence grow louder. Stoic men don't wait for infidelity to become obvious. They read the energy. They notice when warmth turns into routine, when attention shifts, when her joy isn't shared anymore. They don't panic. They exit with grace, before the fire consumes what little is left. But the darkest truth of all is this. She'll wear innocence like armor. And she'll wear it well. Because the most dangerous woman isn't the loud one. It's the one who knows how to play sweet. The one who's mastered the soft smile, the delicate tone, the kind eyes. She's not wild. She's disciplined. She knows exactly when to laugh, exactly how to touch your arm, exactly what to say when you question her. And you, not trained to see past appearances, fall for the mask. You believe good girls don't cheat. You think wedding rings equal loyalty. But betrayal doesn't wear fishnets. It wears aprons. And the most emotionally deceptive women? They cry when they're caught. They play the victim. They twist the narrative. And suddenly, you become the problem. You weren't attentive enough. You didn't make her feel desired. But deep down, she knows. Every step she took was deliberate. She didn't fall. She walked, slowly, quietly, justified by every cold moment she never communicated, every argument she never resolved, every compliment she never gave but still expected. This is why a truly stoic man never judges based on smiles or sweetness. He listens to the silence. He senses the shift in energy. And when something feels off, he doesn't confront. He disappears. With integrity, with clarity, with his soul intact. So if you've ever felt it, that strange ache in your chest, that silent alarm in your gut, like something wasn't right, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. Maybe it showed up in quiet moments, the way she stopped looking at you when she laughed, the way her phone suddenly became more important than your words, the subtle but undeniable shift in her energy, like the warmth had been replaced by a distant chill. You started to feel like you were sleeping beside a stranger, a woman who smiled like everything was fine, but had already checked out in silence. That feeling? That slow, creeping suspicion that the woman you love had already left you emotionally long before anything physical ever happened? That's real. It's called awareness. And very few men have it. If that's you, if you've ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt like she wasn't really there, drop the word aware in the comments. Not just for yourself, but for the brotherhood. Because awareness is rare. It's a gift. It's a weapon. Most men walk through life blindfolded, trusting blindly, hoping passively, and ignoring the whispers of their own intuition until it's too late. They don't see the signs. They don't feel the shift. And when the betrayal finally lands, they're left stunned, shattered, wondering how they missed what was right in front of them. But not you. Not anymore. Because once you become aware, truly awake, you stop making the same mistakes. You stop ignoring patterns. You stop giving unearned trust. You stop explaining away red flags as misunderstandings. You don't chase chaos. You don't beg for love. You don't fight for someone who's already written their exit in silence. You become dangerous, in the best possible way. Because awareness isn't just about spotting lies. It's about mastering truth. It's about learning the psychology behind behavior, the emotional code beneath the surface. It's about understanding how women think, feel, and act. Not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of clarity. You stop seeing the world through a romantic lens and start seeing it through a strategic one. Calm, collected, stoic. That's why you're here. You're not looking for cute cookie-cutter advice. You're not here for soft words, filtered quotes, or surface-level love tips written by people too afraid to speak the real. You're here for depth, for brutal honesty, for unapologetic truth, for the kind of insight that cuts through the noise and shows you what's actually going on behind the smile, the silence, the subtle emotional distance. So if this hits home, if it wakes something up in you, make sure you subscribe. Because around here, we don't play by the rules of comfort. We don't sugarcoat reality. We sharpen perception. We challenge illusions. We raise emotional standards. And we speak the truth. Most platforms are too scared to say out loud. Until next time, don't be fooled by rings, smiles, or sweet words. Watch her patterns, feel her energy, study her silences. And remember, the loudest truths are the ones no one speaks. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay stoic.